I'm going to use this comment to respond because I see a lot of other people are asking the same question down below. Hi, I'm Dr. Natalie Jones, licensed psychotherapist. Thanks for asking, how do you move on when someone has hurt you? And so I want to put a little bit of a disclaimer. This is just something that I've kind of come up with for my years as just a therapist, working with many, many people who've hurt over the years, my own personal experience. And so this is just general suggestions. I'm not familiar with everyone who sees this post or what everyone's situation is. So always, always, always remember that whenever you're taking advice, just sort of take what you need and leave the rest on the floor, and you can always save and come back for later. Hope that helps. But anyhow, getting right into it, in terms of how you move on from being hurt in a relationship, I think the number one thing that you always want to remember is your intention. Your intention is healing and move on, and you have to be intentional about doing that every single day. And you want to do it not just in one way, but you want to do it in multiple ways. And you want to think about, one, what did this relationship teach me, about myself? What is this relationship teaching me just in general about my perspective on the world and other people? Like, what did I come away from it? So you want to kind of do that evaluation. And then you want to think about, who is the woman or man or whatever that you need to become to attract the type of relationships that you want. What is going to make you feel fulfilled and whole? And that's not necessarily a relationship with other people. That may be part of the equation, but it also might be developing a relationship with yourself. Like, what do you need to become the best version of yourself? Like, is it finances? Is it like getting your life in order? What is it that you need in order to become the best version of yourself? And I'll use myself as an example. I know that, when I've been in relationships that aren't so good for me, like, my finances need work after I have come out of them. And so it's like I need to address and heal financial wounds or get better about like discipline around that, because a lot of times emotions and finances go hand in hand. So that's one example. I think number two, I think you don't want to shut down your life. If you have friends, continue to utilize your support network and show up for them as much as possible, as much as you can, and also have them continue to show up as much as possible for you. So if you have hobbies, if you have interests and things like that, try not to put your life on pause too much. If you and if you had goals, number three, if you had goals within that relationship or just in general, like, for example, one goal that I get, especially from women that are in their 30s on up, they maybe have goals of having children and so on and so forth. And they feel like if we broke up or if that person hurt me and we're no longer together, then that sort of puts a damper on my goals. So that's a very common one that I get just in general. I want you to consider other ways of accomplishing your goals that don't necessarily fall in line with how you thought it would look. So if you thought, okay, by 32, I would have this life where I'm married and I have children and we're kind of living as a nuclear family, and that's how it's going to happen. I would consider like revising that goal, or revising how that goal looks, the outcome looks, or how getting there looks, I should say. So for example, instead of saying that I have to have this person in order to accomplish this goal, it's more like I can have children with or without that person. So I can adopt, I can do IVF, I can do all of these things. Let me start exploring my goal of just maybe wanting to become a mom and looking at things a little bit differently and not adhering to one pathway to get to my final destination, if that makes sense. And so that's another thing. Four, I would say, like, getting healing and moving on is definitely a mindset shift. And so it might just be, and again, I'm not your therapist, but just in general, talking with you about my experience as a therapist, a lot of times I work with my clients around rigid thinking, or, just sort of shifting mindset to look at things differently so that they could just sort of unlock pieces of themselves and moving forward. So let go of the rigidity, allow yourself to embrace all that is, and just sort of start thinking about things in a different way. And that can be difficult to do if you're in this by yourself, or if you don't have anybody. So if you're kind of struggling and going through challenges, I definitely encourage a therapist, and read self-help books and things like that. But also, five, I like to say that, for my clients, or just people in general, I'll say it that way, that, there's, you and this person didn't work out. The world is going to continue spinning, and that's okay. But there's 77 odd billion other people on the planet. Odds are in your favor that you can find someone else that can meet your needs and appreciate you as you are. So just continue to look at things from like a abundance mindset, and not as a deficit. Just look at like, okay, there's all this abundance out there. And again, that's very much a mindset shift, but it's also a reminder to know that there's so many people out there. There's so many other opportunities for growth in relationships. There's so many people that want to connect with you, but you have to allow them the space, and you also have to be in a mental place to welcome that abundance, if that makes sense. And then let's see, change of scenery, hobbies, interests, and things like that. Again, there's a world out there, United States, international countries, there's all these other places that you can be. There's a lot of different beauty, there's a lot of different cultures and languages and things like that. Find something to immerse yourself in that gets you excited and gets you passionate. I think one woman on this post mentioned education. That's another great way. So just find some healthy distractions and things that cause you to get excited that you can look forward to. So redirect your energy and focus it inward, but allow yourself to get excited and passionate about other things. And so I hope that helps. And again, this feedback is coming from just personal experiences, and working with other people that kind of stay. You don't want to allow a person or a relationship that was to continue to have power over you, because as a women have our youth, we have our beauty, and our biological clock. And one of the biggest regrets, that I have, is probably many other women had, is like, just staying stuck on someone or situation for way too long, and before you know it, you look up and all of these years have gone by, where you could have been doing things that were pouring into you, being around people that are pouring into you, and it, not necessarily even in the dating capacity, but just in general, where you're just like immersed in the world and allowing yourself to just be. And it's okay to hurt, it's okay to heal, but also continue to move forward, is all I'm saying. But again, to each their own, and I hope that this helps.